welcome to another episode of the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect. Everyone has heard of JuJu Watkins. Everyone has been told what a great player she is, and most of you, I'm imagining, have seen her play at some point. There were such great expectations, even for this 2024-2025 season, and then JuJu went down with an ACL tear. USC couldn't get past UConn, and now it's, looking to the future for USC. Coach Lindsay Gottlieb, she's got something on her hands right now because she has players hitting that transfer portal. Now, if you know me, you know I'm no fan of the transfer portal, but it's there. And players are obviously not shy about jumping into that portal. But with all the talk about the greatness of JuJu Watkins, one would think that her teammates would want to hang in there, would want to get through this year where she's possibly not going to be able to play at all. And if so, it would be the end of the season, people are saying. But if that, you think maybe they'd want to hang in there because greatness is on the horizon, because everyone says the sky is the limit, because JuJu is JuJu. Well, that's not happening. And Coach Gottlieb has got to be saying, okay, so what do we do now? Well, let me say this. I want to say something I've said before. I'm not so sure that Coach Gottlieb is the best coach for JuJu. And I say that because it's sort of like she is committed to JuJu, but not necessarily equally committed to the entire team. There's a lot of talk out there about how many minutes JuJu plays. There's a lot of talk from myself even about the style of play JuJu has. JuJu Watkins, in my opinion, is a person who, she takes a lot of shots, so she's not extra efficient. She can play defense. She can play offense. I've said before, her footwork reminds me of Kobe Bryant, sure. But at the same time, I believe that she requires the officials to bail her out. There are times when JuJu needs to give up the basketball, but she doesn't give up the basketball because she's going to force. She's going to go 1-on-2, 1-on-3, get to the free throw line. And I said before, I'm not so sure that's going to work on the next level where you're trying to have that special whistle bail you out. Or even if it's not a special whistle, you're hoping the officials bail you out instead of playing basketball as it's supposed to be played. In the WNBA, where these players pride themselves on physicality, and obviously the officials have bought into that, or to a certain extent created that, I'm not sure she's going to get bailed out as she does or has in her college career. If you even go back to the last play, and I've done videos on this, you see where JuJu Watkins could have passed the basketball. Not blaming that on the injury, because things happen when you're an athlete. But I am saying, and I showed it in the video, you can see where she could have given up the ball because her teammate was wide open and she didn't give up the basketball. And this comes back, as I've said before, to coaching. So why would people not want to stay? I believe that people, as much as they say, I will accept my role, this is JuJu's team, this coach is committed to JuJu, like, people understand that it's like, hello, what about us? And so when JuJu went down and people were like, man, where is this going to leave them in terms of the tournament? And I said, one of two things will happen. Number one, they will actually get an opportunity to play like a team. And they managed to win that game where JuJu went down and the next game. And I said, again, sometimes when something like that happens, everybody else is like, now we can play like a team. Now they start to play like a team. But the other thing that could happen is everyone is so used to standing around and watching one player for long spurts of time, if not most of the time, that they don't have a rhythm. They don't know what to do because they're so used to coach has all about JuJu. And JuJu responds to the coach by being about JuJu. And so we're kind of like stuck because we haven't been in this situation before. In any case, they managed to hang in there with UConn. Actually, I would have thought it would have been a bigger defeat there. But again, JuJu has been the center. And so these players are hitting the transfer portal. Let's take a look at a couple articles. We're going to start at CBSSports.com. You probably have heard that Avery Howell is getting up out of there. CBSSports.com, women's basketball transfer portal. What's next for USC with JuJu Watkins injured and Avery Howell departing? Says Howell was USC's best three-point shooter and was expected to have a major role next season, but she said, no, thank you. No, thank you. So I'm going to get down to her statement right here. It says, I want to start by expressing my deepest gratitude to the University of Southern California, my coaches, teammates, and the entire Trojan family for their unwavering support and the incredible experiences I've had during my time here. USC has shaped me, not only as an athlete, but also as a person, and I will forever cherish the relationships and memories I've made. After much reflection, when you see that, when they say, I want to start by expressing gratitude. You're like, okay, they ain't so grateful. They're out of here. I'm not saying they're not grateful. I'm just saying it's sort of like, okay, that's a precursor to, yeah, I'm grateful, but I'm out. After much reflection, I've decided to enter the transfer portal. After much reflection means, oh my goodness, what's coming next? Yeah, what's coming next is the transfer portal. In search of the best fit for my future. This was not an easy decision, but I believe it is the right step for my journey. And so, in other words, I'm out of here. Okay, I'm out of here. It says Howell was part of the Trojans' vaunted 2025 recruiting class, which included fellow five-star prospects Kennedy Smith and Kaylee Heckel. While she got off to a slow start in her freshman season, she eventually emerged as a key figure for Gottlieb's team, and he gives some of her stats here. And 7.5 points, 3 rebounds. She shot the highest from three-point range on her team. And then second half of the season, 9.4 points, gives her rebounds, assists, etc. Right? She had some big games in the tournament. She had an 18.8 rebound, 4 steal effort in the Trojan Sweet 16 victory over Kansas State. All right. In any case, she's out of there. She's done on the team where JuJu Watkins is a star. So, is she thinking, well, JuJu's going to come back and JuJu's not going to be the player she used to be, and I want to go to greener pastures? Or is it like, I'm not doing this again, and it didn't matter if JuJu was going to be there or not. She wasn't going to watch her coach, just coach JuJu Watkins. All right, let's go over to an article at SI.com. This one says USC Trojans Kaylee Heckel enters transfer portal. 4th Trojan to depart. 4th. USC Trojans freshman guard Kaylee Heckel announced her intentions to enter the transfer portal. Heckel developed throughout the season, but is likely looking for a program where she has a chance to start. Heckel is the 4th Trojan to enter the portal. So bye-bye to Heckel as well. The 4th player, she announced her decision on April 3rd. So why all these people want to leave? Why do they want to leave USC? This is an opportunity for USC to turn things around. It's one reason why people were like, oh my goodness, so sad about it's so sad about her anyway, about JuJu anyway, but it's like, is this the start of something new for USC? You remember the days of Cheryl Miller and Cynthia Cooper and Lisa Leslie, and you had Tina Thompson there, all this. And it's sort of like, okay, JuJu, she's that hope that they had. Well, what did Heckel say? She said, here it is again. After a lot of thought and reflection, I made the decision to enter the transfer portal and leave the University of Southern California. Saying goodbye to this chapter isn't easy, and I'll always be grateful for the experiences and relationships I've built here. Thank you to the fans and all the people who supported me this season. I'm extremely grateful to my teammates and coaches. Thank you so much for all the memories and incredible experiences I've been able to have this season with you all by my side. This decision was not easy, but I believe this is what is best for me and my journey. Very much sounds like the letter that Howell wrote. So it gives some of her stats here, her points, assists, steals, etc. And it says she's one of the 3 freshmen who stepped up following USC guard JuJu Watkins' injury in the NCAA women's tournament. So while USC lost against UConn in the Elite 8, the 3 freshman guards who stepped up the most were Heckle, Howell, and Kennedy Smith. And let's scroll down here. It lets us know the other players to enter the portal thus far are guards Dominique Darius and Aaliyah Gales. The women of Troy will have to spend the offseason building up their roster. And then it talks about the others who are leaving, the seniors who are moving on. We know Kiki Arifin, she is out of there, likely to be in the WNBA. Gottlieb is going to have to rebuild. I wonder what JuJu was thinking as she is home and recovering and going to be doing therapy and all this. I wonder if she's like, yo, guys, hang, come on, like hang in there with me. I don't know. Who knows? And when JuJu gets back, what is it she's going to decide to do? But I do feel this, and this is what I want to say. I just feel that when you have talented players, you have to allow them a certain freedom. At least I think, excuse me, you should as a coach. But you can't forget about other players. And no, I don't have a direct line to these players. I didn't ask them why they're out of there. I just think it's noteworthy. Now, either they just don't want to hang out because they expect it's going to be nothing burger next year without JuJu. And why wouldn't they think that? The coach made it like all about JuJu Watkins. So why would they think otherwise? Then you got the seniors who are leaving, etc. And you just don't want to do that. You don't want to wait that year. And you maybe the coach hasn't given you the mindset that you can make the difference, or you can make the difference, but the coach didn't appreciate it then. And so since you have an out, you take the out and you're like, I'm going to go somewhere else where I can showcase my talent. And obviously this coach didn't believe that I had that, or she believed so much in JuJu, I didn't even enter the picture as much as I would have liked to. Whatever it is, I just think that coaches have to find a way to recognize a special talent, to encourage that talent, to make room for that talent, not to harness that talent too much. You've got to learn. They've got to learn to play the game properly and all that. But you also want them to have a certain amount of freedom. You don't want to kill that. There are some coaches that are just player killers because their system. So a coach has to be able to find that balance. But I just feel like I just feel like Coach Gottlieb was really into JuJu, and other players just didn't have. She didn't have the whole team in mind. It was like JuJu, and I wouldn't be surprised if there were players who just was like, I'm out of here as soon as I get a chance to get out of here. What are your thoughts? I mean, I don't want to hold back a JuJu Watkins. You understand a coach wants to let JuJu go off, but in the end, has it come back and bitter? Why do you think these people are making a mad dash out of here? Is it because they don't think they can win without JuJu, or is it because they think that they can help win, but their coach didn't appreciate it, and so they're going to take that out? They're talking about the best fit for them. The best fit for a lot of players is, I want to have more of an impact on the team. And again, you know how I feel about the transfer portal. I think players should stay where they are, except for extenuating circumstances. Is this an extenuating circumstance where you feel like it's all about one player? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on USC going forward, the transfer portal in general? Hey, also go over to the second channel. Today I talked about women and the reputation women have for being petty and catty. And I talked a little bit about how we saw that in the 2024 WNBA season and what Charles Barkley had to say about how the women of the WNBA treated Caitlin Clark. Gentlemen, are the ladies petty? Are we just jealous, petty people? And ladies, what do you think? The link to that video over on Adrienne Ross Squared is in the description of this video. So go check it out. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, Adrienne Ross Squared, squaring off from A to Z. So chime in on that as well as this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.